Hello everyone, it's Mr. EC, and I'm just going to do a quick video on reflective teaching. So, what is reflective teaching? Well, let's look at reflection first. Reflection just means something that you're thinking about or something you're really taking into consideration. Being teachers, I think we tend to think quite a bit throughout the day, and maybe we don't really notice it. So, do you reflect? Of course we do. Most of us reflect. So when's the last time you actually reflected on a lesson? Okay, think about it. What did you think about? Did you think about the lessons? Did you think about the students? Maybe you thought about the behavior, or maybe you were thinking about what the students were actually doing during the class. All these sort of things are very vital when you reflect. So reflective teaching basically just means that you're remembering something that happened in the past, okay? You're taking into consideration what's happening and then you're evaluating it. You're trying to look at what and why, okay? We're trying to understand what's happening and why it's happening. And what is this going to do? This is really going to help us with our professional development. It's really going to help us as teachers. It's going to help us evaluate ourselves and learn something. So why is it important? Well, most critically, we don't want to be jumping into conclusions. We don't want to limit our perceptions. Being teachers, with experience, we tend to a lot of times become a little bit narrow-minded. We don't try to think outside the box, and these sort of things can really hurt us in the future. So, for example, your lesson went well. Okay, that's great, but why did it go well? What did you do? What did you do the day before that you didn't do today? Things like this. Maybe students didn't understand. Okay, so if they didn't understand, what was I doing? Did I give them a really difficult worksheet? Was the PowerPoint maybe very boring? Was I lecturing too long? These sort of things can really help you understand what's happening in the lesson. Okay, maybe we tend to say, oh, the students were misbehaving today. They weren't paying attention. Okay, why were they misbehaving? What were they doing? Were they not listening? Were they really talkative? Did they just have lunch? Is it early in the morning? Are they tired? Did they just have exams? These sort of things can really impact our lessons and what's happening. We want to really try to effectively collect what we're observing and really start to analyze what is happening and why it's happening. We also want to try to maybe identify some problems or some areas that we can improve within our lesson or us as teachers. Maybe we're not speaking correctly. These sort of things can really help us. We want to try to grow, and this sort of gives us motivation to improve and improve our teaching. We always try to motivate our students to improve themselves as a student. Well, I think we also have to improve ourselves as teachers. So some misconceptions that we have about reflective teaching is, well, we think I don't need it. I'm experienced, I know my students. But really, we don't know everything. We're not psychic. We don't know what the students are thinking in their mind. You know, education is ever changing, students are always changing, environments are always changing. And social scientists will tell you that we live in a social world and it's always changing. One day is never the same as the day before. And in education, it's exactly the same. Maybe we think, oh, it's just thinking, okay? Well, I could just think about the lesson, okay, finished. I was reflectively teaching. While that is actually very important, it's just the actual first step in an essential part of reflective teaching, okay? So we thought about what happened. Great, now what are we going to do, okay? Are we going to try to find a solution? Okay, are we going to analyze what we did and maybe help us for future lessons? These sort of things are important. Or maybe we say, I don't have time. Oh, I don't have time, I have too many things to do. I can't just stop and think. Maybe this is going to take too long, but it doesn't have to take too long. It could just be something quick. It can just be a few minutes of your day, a few minutes at the end of a lesson. These sort of things can really help. So, how can we reflect? Okay? So, the most simplest way is we can just write something down. Have a written journal, have just something where we can jot down some notes, or things where we can talk about what happened during the day, maybe a daily planner, somewhere where you can write down some observations that you made, or maybe something that you observed with the students. Maybe you can make a self-report, maybe a little tick box where that you devise yourself, where you write down maybe some of the things you want to observe about the class. It's something you could just check every day. Maybe write a small note, whatever works for you. Maybe you want to record something. You really want to understand what's happening. Maybe one student is just really, really unattentive in class, and you really want to see what's he doing during the class. Is he paying attention? Is he talking? What's happening there? And I think something like a video can really help you. Or maybe you want to listen to yourself and see, maybe I'm talking too much during class. Maybe I'm not talking enough. These sort of things can really help. And of course, there's peer observations. Have a teacher come in, watch what's happening in the lesson, and you guys can reflect together. Or many of us have international teachers helping us. Okay, let's devise something. Let's construct something that you can reflect, and something you could take a few minutes during the day and just really talk about what happened during the lessons. We're more than welcome to do this. So, other ways you can reflect is student feedback. Maybe you can be a little bit scared about what the students have to say, but actually, they're the ones who are in the class and are engaged the whole time. They can tell you honestly, maybe what they like, what they don't like, these sort of things. Maybe you could do a small survey, something that they can do quickly to really tell you what's happening during the lesson. Or you can use the exit ticket, something you write down, maybe a review question from the lesson. Okay, students, you guys want to leave? Okay, we have 2 minutes. Write down the answer to this question, and then you guys can leave. When you turn it in, you can leave. Then you can go back and look, okay, were my students learning today? Did they learn something? Did they learn the main key things that we were teaching them today? You can go back and look at this exit ticket and really analyze what's happening during your lessons. Also, we could do something easy, like just put a few post-it notes in your lesson plan or in your planner. Something you could just write a few quick notes. Oh, Johnny was not listening today, or oh, Jack did really well, or oh, Jenny was really tentative during the peer assessment, or something like that. Anything that we can really you notice throughout the day. Maybe the lesson didn't go so well. Something you could just write a few notes on and really collect them at the end of the day and go back and think about it again. Or be creative. After your lesson is finished, maybe record a few minutes of audio or maybe even a video, something that really helps you, where you can listen to yourself and actually go back and really reflect on what was happening during that day. Maybe you're in a bad mood, maybe a video blog or something like that can really help you understand what was happening. Or do something like a group journal, something you can work on with your other teachers. Something quick when you can reflect on maybe what's happening during the lesson that everybody taught. So a few final thoughts. There is a reason why a lot of these sections are covered within our lesson plan. We see these big boxes at the bottom, but we don't really pay attention to them. But they're there for a reason. They're there because they're important. Being a teacher, it's really important to reflect. You really want to go back and see what's happening in your classroom. We're not just there to teach, we're also there to observe and really guide our students and understand what's happening. So reflect on your profession. You as a teacher, why are you a teacher? Why did you want to teach? Most of us wanted to help students and we wanted to improve ourselves and learn and do things like this. And reflective teaching really helps us do these sort of things. So if you just put in a little effort, I think it could really help many of us continue to develop our profession. Start with something simple. Maybe just start a few minutes a day. Maybe just write a few sentences. Maybe on 1 or 2 classes that you really want to reflect on and really build upon. And slowly set some small goals for yourself. These sort of things can really help you along the way. Maybe in the future you won't even notice it, and it'll just be part of your daily routine. It's something you do, but can really help you. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Me, I'll always be there if you guys need any help or you guys want to discuss some sort of thing in the future. Or you can just talk to one of your colleagues. I'm sure everybody will be happy to help. Okay, thank you guys for listening. Hopefully this wasn't too long and it didn't take too much of your time. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.